Hi everyone and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm sharing with you what I ate in a day recently. For breakfast I made this kind of banana and blueberry one pan crumble. I first melted a teaspoon of coconut oil in a pan, and meanwhile I sliced up a banana. I then added that to the pan along with a handful of blueberries. I cooked those down for a few minutes until the blueberries started to burst open, and then I transferred them over to a bowl. I then added another teaspoon of coconut oil to the same pan and then added in a cup of rolled oats and stirred them constantly until they started to toast, around 5 minutes. I next added in 2 tablespoons of coconut nectar, half a teaspoon of vanilla powder and a pinch of salt. I stirred that well and then continued to toast it for another 5 minutes. I then added the banana and blueberries back into the pan, lightly stirred it through and just allowed the fruit to heat back up again. I then moved it back to the bowl and then quickly heated up some coconut milk in the same pan. And once it was hot, I then poured it over the crumble and also added some fresh blueberries on the top. This isn't exactly a crumble, but it's the closest thing to a crumble that I can think of, all done in the same pan. I love the taste of warm banana and it works so well with the hot blueberries. The oats give it a bit of a bite to make it slightly chewy, and I thought serving it with some hot coconut milk was a little bit different, but it would also work really well with some vegan yogurt on the side too. As a snack before lunch, I had a Vibe bar. These come in 4 different flavours. There's almond and coconut, cacao orange, peanut butter jelly and lemon burst. These are actually protein bars and contain 10 grams of protein, which is amazing. So they're great for an energy boost. They also do flavoured protein powders too. My favourite is the lemon burst. It tastes like lemon cake, but I had the peanut butter jelly bar. I've never seen a snack bar in this flavour before. It's really delicious and actually tastes like peanut butter and raspberry jelly. For lunch I made these stuffed folded pita flatbreads. I first preheated the oven to 180 degrees Celsius. I then placed half a can of drained chickpeas in a small baking dish, then added in 1 teaspoon of olive oil and gave it a good shake to coat them. I then added in a pinch of cayenne pepper, a teaspoon of garlic powder and a teaspoon of paprika, seasoned it with some salt and black pepper. Then shook the dish again to coat the chickpeas in the spices. I placed those in the oven to roast for around 30 minutes, and meanwhile I made a vegan tzatziki by chopping up a bunch of fresh dill. I then grated a third of a large cucumber and then squeezed out all of the juice, and then I minced 2 cloves of garlic. I added 1 cup of cocoa dairy-free yogurt to a bowl and then squeezed in the juice of half a lemon, added in the grated cucumber, the fresh dill, the minced garlic and seasoned it well with some salt and black pepper, and then mixed it together really well. I took 2 of these beef-free quinoa and chia wraps and cut them into triangles. I placed those in the oven for 6 minutes and then turned them over to bake on the other side for a further 6 minutes. I also popped 3 seeded pitas into toast slightly, and once they were done, I put them on a plate, spread on some hummus, added on some spinach and rocket, some sliced pickle and tomato, added on some of the vegan tzatziki, and then I took the chickpeas out of the oven and added those on, and I actually had 3 of those all together. I gently bend them in half and they almost become like these little pita tacos. On the side I just had some fresh rocket and plum tomatoes with a bit of balsamic vinegar, and I also added some chopped parsley onto the flatbreads as well. This vegan tzatziki is one of my new favourite things. I used to love it so much, but obviously haven't had it since going vegan. It does only really work with the cocoa dairy-free yogurt. You guys know this is my favourite vegan yogurt. It doesn't taste too strongly of coconut and it's not too sweet, so it's really versatile. And these little folded pita flatbreads are delicious. You can stuff them with whatever you like, but this combination with all of the different flavours and textures is amazing.
I
I didn't forget about the tortilla chips. I was going to have them with lunch, but it ended up being enough as it was, so I had them as a little snack later on with some more of the tzatziki, and there were also some of the roast chickpeas left over too, so I added those on top. This works so well for creating your own tortilla chips. You can make them with any kind of wrap. I think mine could have done with a little bit of salt sprinkled on them, but with the quinoa and the chia in them, it gives them a little bit of flavour and also some crunch. For dinner, I made these, I'm going to call them Mediterranean plates. I first preheated the oven to 200 degrees Celsius, and meanwhile I sliced up 2 aubergines into rings. I then placed those in a large baking dish and made up a marinade with 4 tablespoons of olive oil, 3 tablespoons of balsamic vinegar, the juice of half a lemon, a good pinch of dried chili flakes and some salt and black pepper, and then I whisked that all together well. I drizzled the marinade over the aubergine and turned each ring through it, and I then placed those in the oven to roast for around 40 minutes, turning them regularly. I also made this kind of salad to go on top by chopping up some of the leftover cucumber from lunch, the leftover tomatoes from lunch, a bunch of fresh parsley, and I sliced up a small red onion. I added those to the bowl along with the other half of chickpeas left from lunch. I squeezed in the juice of half a lime and seasoned it with some salt and black pepper. I then boiled 1.5 cups of vegetable stock in a large pan and added in 1 cup of giant couscous and left that to cook until it was soft. I then plated the couscous up. When it was done, I removed the aubergine from the oven and added that on top of the couscous. Then I drizzled on the last bit of tzatziki I had left over, and then added on the chickpea salad. I don't really know what this was, but it was just a plate of all of my favourite things. I haven't had giant couscous for such a long time, but it's so good, and you could do this dish with brown rice or quinoa instead. It would also work really well as like a lunch bowl as well. All of the flavours and textures again just work so well together. This is honestly my favourite kind of food. Then for dessert, I just made these chocolate stuffed raspberries. I took a handful of fresh raspberries, and I always have to share these with the bunnies because they love them so much. Then I just broke up some pieces of dark chocolate and basically stuffed a piece into each raspberry. It was a really quick and simple dessert, be great for a snack as well, but raspberry and dark chocolate has to be one of the best pairings. They're so good together. And that is it for another day on my plate as a vegan. I really hope you enjoyed this video. As always, all of the recipes are written up in the description box below for you. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you again in my next one. Bye!